Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about pivoting, and this is something I think you'll want to hear. I'm going to integrate the story of how I started my business and where I am today. So here it comes. Okay, so pivoting. So if you've just started a company or if you've been in business for a couple years and you're still not where you want to be, then don't worry. There's going to be a lot of other forks in the road that you're going to have to take until you finally find the right path for you. And the reason I say that is, the world is complex. There's a lot of different ways to, make money or to have success, and that's success is even defined differently by everybody. But nothing is just a straight path. Now, I'm going to give you a little story about how I started my company, my first companies, and how I made it to where I am today, what I'm doing, and what my future goals are. And hopefully that'll give you some insight into how my business looks and give you some encouragement or inspiration into where you are in your business. So I first started out with my first company in 2010. I had two partners at the time, and we had started this computer repair shop. And this repair shop was basically, we'll fix your viruses, we'll back up your computer, we'll install new software, basically anything related to something that Best Buy, I think it's Geek Squad, would do. So I ran that for about a year. The problem was the two other partners, they were still working at another job, and it just didn't work out logistically. There wasn't enough money coming in to support all three of us anyway, so it just kind of fizzled away. But what I learned from that was that people have different priorities, but also that in the business side you kind of have to advertise. You need to be known. You need to be out there to where people know to call you if they have a problem. And if you don't have that awareness, then that's the number one reason why you don't have enough customers, is because they don't know you exist. I think there's a numbers game in pretty much every area of life, and this is one great example. Even if you have a bad pitch, even if you have bad marketing, bad advertising, eventually somebody's going to hear what you do and they're going to buy from you. It's just about exposure and getting yourself out there so people know that you exist is, I think, the first problem that most companies deal with. Now, that lesson of getting out there and bringing exposure was something that I learned in the first business, but I forgot it in the second business. And the second business is Bright Idea Marketing, which is the company that I have today. So that was 8 years ago that I started it. And, for the first 2 or 3 years, I really struggled. I started out by building websites. I would use WordPress, and I would install a theme, and I would put in their content, get it up live, and then I would host it for them. So kind of two services going on there. It was website development and hosting. Now, what I found out as I went along, that hosting became kind of a big pain, because if the website went down, they would call me, and this would be at any time of the night, 2 a.m, midnight. People would call and say, "Hey, my site is down. I need you to get it back up right away." And it made sense for them because it was an interruption of business, so they couldn't afford to have the website down. But I basically became a 24/7 service company, which honestly sucked. So I got rid of the hosting. I stopped doing that, and life got a little bit better. And for the next 5 years or so, I was building websites. And of course, as I got better with my process and the websites got better, I'd raise my rates. And I was charging between $6,000 to $10,000 per website. So I was doing pretty good at that. But then it got to a point where I got really busy. I brought in a whole bunch of projects, and I just kind of started feeling the stress and the weight of all this work on me, because at the time it was just me. So I knew at that time that I needed to hire somebody. So I hired somebody, and things got busier and busier, and I hired a second person. And I eventually hired 4 people, and I had 4 people in my office, and we were all mostly doing websites. But what happened was, with the websites, I'd have I had the staff that could allegedly support getting those projects done in a timely manner, and we'd get it out and service the clients. But what happened was there was a point where I stopped getting projects. Like, it just kind of slowed down. And as I'd finish the websites, I'd get a little bit of payment at the end. But as I'd finish the websites out, I wouldn't have a new customer to replace that. These were just, obviously, as a website, it's just a project. It's a one-off. Once you finish it, you're done, and you got to find the next guy. So that kind of came about a year in of having those 4 employees. And it really started hurting because I had these employees that I couldn't stop paying, but I didn't have any more projects coming in. So suffice it to say, there's a lot of other things that happened, but I lost a lot of money. Trying to support the employees. The process was also not good. So it was really tough. And this was about 2 years ago. So I had to let go of all of my employees. And as a result of that, of course, all of the workload that they had, I had to take on myself. So it was really, really stressful times. And it was tough. I had all this work, and I had lost all this money and gone into debt, even more than I had before. And it was just me trying to rebuild, trying to figure out what to do next. So as I was still going through these websites, I realized that websites, being that they're just a one project and done, that I needed to have some continuity, some way for me to bring that client into a recurring system where I know that every month I would have income from my current clients. So that was another pivot that I made, which was, after I finished a website, why don't I offer to support it and maintain the website? So if somebody built a website out and they said, they need to make changes, I would be retained for, a couple hours a month, and they could just email me or call me and say, hey, why don't you make this addition? Or if something broke, they'd come to me and say, hey, can you fix this? Sure, it was covered. So that was kind of the first foray into the recurring services, and it made all the difference, because now I didn't have to go out and find new clients every time I finished a project. I knew that I would have recurring income that just kept happening. So that was another epiphany for me. Moving forward, I got to a point about a year and a half ago where I realized that, okay, so I've got the continuity part down, but now I need to bring in a lot more business to scale up. My goal has always been to build an enormous company, but I had relied on 3 or 4 companies that were just referring most of their business to me. And that was great at the time, but when it dried up, so did my business. So, for a long time, I struggled with, okay, I need to figure out how to bring in more business. So I got into the Facebook advertising arena, and I started learning how Facebook worked, how to market yourself, how to write copy, how to make something look good, and how to make it really urgent for people to take action. So I really delved into that. So that was the next pivot point for me, which was jumping into advertising as a service. And the benefit of advertising as a service is several reasons, but the first one is its continuity. So every month my clients pay me to maintain their marketing. And secondly, since marketing is such a dynamic field today, especially in the digital world, things change all the time. And if I have tons of clients that I'm working for, that gives me the capability to see en masse what's working and what's not. And as a result, I can help improve my own business just from working with my clients. So it kind of works twofold, and it's actually the best mix and combination that I've found. So that's kind of the final pivot of my business. And so I've been doing that for probably a year and a half now, and it has been the best pivot I've ever made. But if you look back over the 8 years, I've made a lot of pivots. I started out with websites and hosting, got rid of the hosting, that was another pivot. Got rid of the websites, completely relying on websites, and brought in maintenance contracts. Then I got rid of that and got into the advertising. So I've had a lot of pivots. I've had a lot of struggles where the business was just somewhat high, and then it just went really, really low. So anyway, I hope this kind of helps you. You know, again, if you're struggling in your business, or if you're just starting out and you're wondering how long it takes a while, but if you just stick to it and start trying and testing new things, you'll eventually figure it out. The problem is most people never make it to that point, so don't be that person. Be the person that just continues to test until they find what they're looking for. And you know, I'm confident in saying that where I am now is exactly what I've been hoping to get for the past 8 years. So this is the path that I'm going to continue taking. You know, this is my passion now. This is my love, and this is what will get me to where I want to be. So anyway, I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, throw some comments down in the YouTube comments section. I'd love to answer them. I'm trying to get more interaction out there. You know, there's a lot that I've learned over the years, and I think that I can help a lot of people, and I'd love to do that. So I hope to talk to you on the next video. See ya.